The 8 essential rocks are universal principles and truths that can and should be applied to every area of your life and leadership. They help you become a better person, a better friend, coworker, spouse, parent, and leader. And they're called the essential rocks for a reason, because they are absolutely necessary in your life and leadership. This is the Leadership on the Rocks podcast, where we equip and empower leaders like you to thrive in and create harmony between your professional and personal lives. I'm your host, Bethany Reese, and in today's episode, we'll learn about the concept of the 8 essential rocks for your life and leadership, and why they're in fact essential. Welcome back, Leadership on the Rocks community. How's everybody doing out there? Where are you at on the spectrum of busyness, stress, and anxiety? Are you good? Are you overwhelmed? If I were a betting person, I'd bet that most of you are inching over to the overwhelmed side of the spectrum. With all the expectations placed on you to perform at work and lead at home and live that Facebook or Insta-worthy lifestyle, I get it. It's easy for us to feel overwhelmed these days. And I've been thinking a lot about you out there. You're working hard, trying to get ahead, and even trying to be, honestly, everything to everybody out there. And sometimes the pressure to continue to meet all the demands placed upon you can have you feeling trapped, where you can't really catch your breath. So I want you to know that you were made for so much more than that being trapped feeling. Trapped in a life of busyness, stress, anxiety, doubt, and fear. You are called to live a life of abundance. Way back in episode 2, I shared with you my desire to help you stop living in the sand elements of life that had you feeling tossed to and fro by the waves of circumstances. Living in the sand elements of life has you constantly feeling busy, stressed, anxious, doubting, and full of fear. And yes, even FOMO, fear of missing out. Just even talking about all those demands and emotions and the guilt that goes with them, and that sand living, honestly, it makes me just have that knot in my stomach that I used to feel years ago. This is not the life that you and I were called to live. And I've got to be honest, now that I've experienced life away from the sand elements of living, where I'm more confident in my identity and my purpose, and way more empowered to say no to things that aren't a priority in my life, and yes to those that are, I feel like I've been removed from that overwhelming pressure that I used to feel. Now, don't get me wrong. My circumstances haven't necessarily changed. I've started my own leadership coaching business, which means I've had to leave the comforts of a guaranteed paycheck, which also happens to be when we're experiencing massive inflation of gas and grocery prices. I'm the parent of a soon-to-be high school senior and a tween going into junior high, which means I'm constantly dancing with their teenage emotions and desires for freedom. And as we all do, I live in a time that has us feeling pressured to do it all, buy it all, and be it all. Blah! No thanks, society. You can take the pressure and expectation you give, and you can shove it up your... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. This is a clean podcast. So my point is, Leadership on the Rocks community, you do not have to continue living in the sand elements of life, feeling tossed to and fro from all the pressures and expectations constantly thrown at you. Here's a thought. Yeah, they're being thrown at you, but you have a choice whether or not to catch them and then carry them around. That stressful and chaotic life isn't for you anymore. So for the next 8 episodes, I am so excited to take you on a journey in learning about and applying the 8 essential rocks for building your life and leadership on the rocks. As part of the Leadership on the Rocks community, I'm going to guide you on a journey that will have you leaving your sand elements of life and climbing to higher ground. And I believe there are 8 essential rocks that lay the strongest foundation for your life and leadership. Now, you may be asking yourself, why do you keep saying the phrase your life and leadership? Isn't this just a leadership podcast so I can do better at work and get the promotion? Let me stop you there, my friend, if that's what you're thinking. If you're listening to this podcast just hoping to grow your skills in leadership so you can get the next promotion, then I politely ask you to stop listening because this podcast is not for you. And I say this every week. The ultimate goal of the Leadership on the Rocks podcast is to equip and empower leaders like you to thrive in and create harmony between your professional and personal lives. Your professional and personal lives. I cannot and will not separate the two. They will always be integrated, because those of us that are part of the Leadership on the Rocks community don't just live to work, and we don't work just to get the promotion. No, we work to live. And living means caring for ourselves, caring for our families and our friends, and caring for our communities. I want you to be a better leader at home and at work, and therefore thrive in both. I want you to get rid of guilt and shame and instead experience harmony between the many demands within your life. So let me tell you a short story to explain what I mean about the integration of your professional and personal lives. I had a friend one time tell me his frustration with professional development at work, and he compared his professional development experiences to fruit and his work to fruit salad. He said that every PD, professional development course he ever took in his job was like only learning about one piece of fruit, with each professional development session being a different piece of fruit. So he said in one session he would learn about how to do better with oranges, and another talked about how to grow better bananas, and yet another talked about the importance of apples. And his frustration was that never once did any PD session ever talk about the fruit salad he was supposed to be making, working with, and carrying out. He felt he was always left alone to figure out how to put it all those individual fruits together to make the fruit salad he was supposed to be implementing at work. That conversation, y'all, happened 13 years ago, but I never forgot it because it's so true. So often we learn about a topic or a skill that will grow us in one specific area, but we never live or work in just one specific area. We don't live and work in silos. It's more like beautiful chaos, with all areas interwoven and integrated with one another. That, my friends, is the why behind my what when I speak about the 8 essential rocks. So, why do I dub these the 8 essential rocks? For something to be essential, it means it is of the most importance, or it's absolutely necessary. The 8 essential rocks are universal principles and truths that can and should be applied to every area of your life and leadership. They help you become a better person, a better friend, coworker, spouse, parent, and leader. And they will help you grow a better culture in your home, within your circle of friends, and within your teams at work. They will also help you establish better organizations and build better communities. And I believe the 8 rocks that I'll be sharing with you are in fact essential to live a life of harmony at work and at home. With so many marketing techniques vying for your attention, I believe most people are losing their way and constantly seeking things of lesser value, or those sand elements of life. Instead, I want you to be equipped with the foundational truths as lenses to see what is in fact the most important priorities in your life, so that you can stop giving away your life and leadership to those things of lesser value. They are called the essential rocks for a reason, because they're absolutely necessary. So in each of the next 8 episodes, we're going to cover one of the essential rocks, and I'm going to provide you examples of how those essential rocks can be established within the various domains of impact: yourself, your relationships, your culture, your organizations, and your communities. Now, if you need a refresher on what the 5 domains of impact are, be sure to go back and check episodes 13 and 14. Now, you also might be saying, okay, Bethany, for the love of Pete, what are those 8 essential rocks for building my life and leadership on higher ground? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Thank you. The 8 essential rocks range from the depths of our being to how we serve and lead others. They go from inward to outward, from our why to our how and to our what. The 8 essential rocks are 1, identity, 2, purpose, 3, systems and processes, 4, communication, 5, collaboration, 6, stewardship, 7, service, and finally 8, leadership. These 8 essential rocks will anchor your thoughts, beliefs, feelings, and behaviors on universal truths and principles that will have you standing, unwavering, when the storms of life and work come. And remember, storms will always come. Crises, problems, disappointments, and the pressures and expectations of others will constantly be raining down on you. But by building your life and leadership on these 8 essential rocks, your lives will not crumble in these storms. No, your foundation on the 8 essential rocks will have you standing strong through every storm that will come your way. Now, you're going to notice a sense of peace in the chaos, a sense of quiet strength where pressures and expectations don't overwhelm you, where busyness dies down because you are empowered to say no to the good and say yes to the best. In fact, your life and leadership will become a beacon of light and hope to others, drowning in the ocean and waves of sand element living. Why? Because over the next 8 episodes, you're going to learn about 1, how a strong sense of identity in knowing who you are and what you believe is the most foundational rock you must have to build your life and leadership on. 2, how revealing and truly stepping into your purpose becomes the peace that overcomes times of crisis. 3, what systems and processes you need to have in your professional and personal life to produce results that you can see. 4, how important and kind clear communication is to every relationship, from the office to the casa. And 5, how to develop true collaboration that actually accomplishes your work, family, and life goals. 6, why stewardship is often the biggest hole in your professional and personal life. 7, how to build the heart of service into everything you do. And 8, finally, how to grow others in leadership so that they can create a positive impact on others. I sure hope you're ready to change your lives, because it is possible. I've lived it. I went from a stressed out overachiever who was thriving in her career on the outside, but was withering as a busy and anxious human on the inside, to now being a person who has inner peace and harmony, who has become a better person, a better wife, parent, friend, and leader. And again, it's not so much that my circumstances have changed, but I sure have. The strong pull of sand elements no longer have any power over me. I have made the climb to higher ground, and I hope you will too. Until next time, when we start with the first essential rock of identity, I do have some homework for you. I want you to take a few minutes in quiet reflection. Go lock yourself in the bathroom if you have to, and don't bring your phone with you. I want you to take just 5 minutes to reflect on 3 things. 1, who are you? What do you believe? 2, who do others think you are based upon how you live? And 3, who do you believe you were called to be? Now, let me warn you. When you really stop and think about it, you may find some gaps between those 3 answers, and that's okay. We're going to work through those in the next episode. So until next time, when we take a deep dive into essential rock number 1, identity, God bless. Thank you so much for listening to the Leadership on the Rocks podcast, and I hope you subscribe and don't miss a single episode as we continue to grow together. And also, if you feel like this podcast is helpful, will you do me a favor and share it with your friends, family, coworkers, or anybody else who's trying to grow in leadership, but also wants to have harmony between work and home? Thanks, and I'll see you in the next episode. Remember, the most important rock you can build your life and leadership on is the rock of Jesus Christ. Today's Bible verse comes from Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect.